So My Hero Academia has a lot of interesting characters, right? But not all of them are in the My Hero 1 Justice series. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing another episode of the How They Can Work series. In this series, we look at characters that are not in My Hero 1 Justice 2, and try to break them down to create movesets for them, so hopefully one day they will become a playable character. So for today's video, we are talking about the character Masahiro Ojiro from Class 1A, and I think Ojiro would be a perfect character for this game. Like, just think about it. It's a fighting game. Ojiro's the martial arts hero. That just sounds perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that just sounds, like, perfect. And besides, think about Ojiro's tail. Like, you know how cool the animation would look of Ojiro hitting the opponent with his tail? That would just look super cool. I can just imagine it. Like, I don't know. I think Ojiro would be perfect for this game. But before we begin, I just wanted to quickly warn that there will be some spoilers from the My Hero Academia manga and the My Hero Academia movie, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. So I just wanted to warn you guys real quick just in case you didn't want to be spoiled. Now with all that out of the way, let's begin the video. So characters in My Hero 1's Justice usually have these things. They usually have a normal attack, a red attack or an unblockable, an armor attack or a yellow attack, and then they usually have a quirk 1, a quirk 2, a side quirk 1, a side quirk 2, and a plus ultra level 1, 2, and 3. But in this series, we don't look at the normal attack because it's just usually the same thing each time. It's either a punch or a kick. And we don't look at the level 3 because it's just 3 level 1s combined into one big attack. We only look at the unique things, and yeah, so that's what we do in the series. So starting off with the first quirk, I have his quirk 1 labeled Tail Smack. So what this quirk 1 could do is Ojiro can hit the opponent with his tail. And I know, like, that doesn't sound all that interesting, but I don't know. I think it could be pretty interesting. Like, you can make it, you know, more than just an extra punch. You can make it to the point where maybe he can repeat that 3 times in a combo. You know, it doesn't have to be just one hit with the tail and you're done. No, he could probably, you know, just do like 3. And then you can add that on top of your normal combo. So he would throw in maybe like 3 normal attacks and then go into his quirk 1, which you can repeat like 3 times. Now, you don't have to do it, you know, 3 times. You can like stop it and maybe throw in maybe another normal attack or throw in a red attack. Like, that could really have some potential. Like, think about all the mix-ups you can do. And then the animations for the tail strikes would be like different. You know, it wouldn't be the same thing each time. So I think it would be pretty cool to see. I think it would work, and you could do some crazy mix-ups with that quirk. So for side quirk 1, I have it labeled Fist of the Tail. And this is a reference to one of his ultimate attacks from the My Hero Academia manga, you know, during the joint training arc. And what this side quirk 1 would do is he would spin on the ground and extend his tail outward. Now, what makes this different than, you know, like Kendo's or Hatsume's, you know, spinning quirk is he can only spin on the ground. So what would happen if you did it in the air is he would do a flip, like an animation where he does like a flip, and he would get back to the ground and he would start spinning. Now, that could do a lot of things. Like, think about it. If the opponent is near him when he does the flip, he would smack the opponent to the ground, which would cause a bounce, so you would catch them when you start spinning. But it's not like Hatsume or Kendo's where you just start spinning in the air, and when you touch the ground, you still spin. No, he only spins on the ground. So if you're in the air, you know, you can flip down to the ground, that's the animation, and if the opponent's near him when he does the flip, they get smacked to the ground, which can cause a bounce. So then maybe you could dash cancel and start another combo, or you could just let the side quirk 1 ride out and catch them in the spin. But I don't know, I think it would be an interesting attack because, again, he doesn't spin in the air like Kendo or Hatsume, he only spins on the ground, and if you get near him when he does the flip, when he's trying to get back to the ground to start spinning, you would get smacked to the ground, cause a bounce, and then that's how you get caught in the spin. I don't know, it's just a way to make it different than Kendo's and Hatsume's spin, and I think it'd be a pretty cool attack. So for his quirk 2, I have it labeled Flipping Tail Attack. And what Ojiro does for his quirk 2 is he does like the flip, like the side quirk 1, when you're in the air, except he can do it on the ground, and when he flips, the tail launches the opponent into the air. So like he would do like a backflip or something, and the tail would smack the opponent into the air, and you can jump and start a combo. But if you are already in the air, it would be just like a side quirk 1. You know, he would do another flip, but instead of launching them higher, he smacks them towards the ground, which causes a small bounce, and then you can start a ground combo. It would work pretty well because, you know, if Ojiro did a flip, you're almost guaranteed to get hit by the tail. Like, let's be real here. And I think it would be cool because you could see like Ojiro just doing this like amazing flip, like that animation, and his tail just swings around, launches the opponent into the air, and then you can just jump and then start another combo. Or if you want to get them onto the ground, you just do the quirk 2 and spike them to the ground, it causes a bounce, and then you can start another ground combo like that. I think it would work well, and it would, you know, work well with his other quirk attacks, so I just think it would be a good quirk too for him. So for side quirk 2, I have it labeled tail counter, and I'm pretty sure you can guess what this quirk does. You guessed it. It is a counter with his tail. The name is kind of, self-explanatory, but what would happen is, if the opponent goes in for a punch and, or another attack, Ojiro would counter it with his tail. He would kind of stick his tail in front of him, and then he would smack the opponent away with his tail. It would kind of remind me of something Fat Gum would do when you do his, I forget what quirk it is, but you know what I'm talking about. Where if you go in for a punch and then he kind of does the absorption thing and then he kind of like smacks the opponent away. It would kind of be like that, except instead of using, Fat Gum's stomach, you're using Ojiro's tail. So I think it would work well because, it gives him a counter so you can play defensively with Ojiro, and it will look pretty normal for Ojiro because he kind of sticks his tail in front of him, and then, if you try to punch him during that counter, he kind of just smacks it away because the tail kind of absorbed the blow. So I think it would work well, and again, it just gives him more play styles. You can play him very defensively then. So for his red attack, I have it where Ojiro kind of grabs the opponent with his tail and then kind of slams them, which causes a bounce, so you can follow up with that red attack. You can go into a combo. And like I said, just think about it. Like, Ojiro's tail can be so cool for so many different animations. Like, besides the flips, the spins, the counter, you also have like this red attack where Ojiro kind of wraps his tail around someone's arm and he kind of just slams them to the ground, which causes a bounce. You can follow up with a combo. Like, it would look super cool. Like, I'm just saying, Ojiro will look so cool in this game. The animations of his tail and all these attacks, like, I just can see it working so well. Like, that's why I really like Ojiro, and I think he would work really well in a fighting game. And then for his armor attack, I kind of just gave him a basic one, but it's not as basic as just a normal punch or a kick. No, he kind of just smacks the opponent with his tail and kind of launches them, and if you're near a wall, it can cause a wall splatter, so it can make it pretty different, but it's kind of still basic in a sense, but not really because he's using his tail instead of just a punch or a kick. So I think it would work well for Ojiro because, it's pretty normal, but it can cause a wall splatter, so I can totally see it working. So for his level 1, I have it where Ojiro would kind of start the animation off by hitting the opponent multiple times with his tail. Then he would kind of grab the opponent with his tail and he would go into a spinning animation, and once the spin is done, he would release them and he would launch them into the air. It's simple, and I think it works for Ojiro. He has his tail incorporated into it, and then he kind of does like a spin after grabbing them, and I think it would look really cool from just going from him hitting the opponent a couple times with his tail to them getting caught in his tail. He kind of wraps his tail around their arm again, and then he just spins and launches them. Like, I think it works pretty well, and it's pretty simple, but I think it's effective. And for his level 2 animation, this is where we have to get a little more flashier. So what would happen is Ojiro would start by hitting the opponent with a couple punches, and then he would go into a couple hits from his tail. But it would be kind of like mixed up, so it would be like a punch, punch, tail hit, punch, punch, tail hit. And then he would use his tail and his hand at the same time and hit the opponent. So he would, hit the opponent with his tail and his hand both at the same time. So it would be like a punch and a smack from the tail. And then it would launch the opponent into the air. Then Ojiro would jump with his tail and go into his ultimate attack, Tornado Tail Dance. And he would spin and hit the opponent to the ground with his tail, which would cause an explosion made of debris. And Ojiro would land with like a proud animation. Ojiro is a very honorable character, so he would be like super proud that he nailed that attack, and also incorporates one of his ultimate attacks, Tornado Tail Dance, which was seen in My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. But yeah, besides that, some other animations Ojiro could have, or things that he could do pretty passively, is for his jump animation, he could kind of jump with his tail because, he gets good movement with it, so it'd be pretty cool to see him, instead of, jumping with his legs, he kind of bounces upward with his tail. I think it would be pretty cool to see that. And for his blocking animation, it could also be with his tail as well. I think that would be pretty cool because that's stuff he could just do passively with his tail, but it would be pretty cool to see animation wise. But yeah, that is my moveset for Ojiro. Like I said, Ojiro is a very cool character. He doesn't get a lot of moments in the series, but I really like the character, and I hope they, expand on him more, and I would love to see him come to My Hero 1 Justice because I think it would work so well, and the animation with the tail would be super cool. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see a specific character in this series, let me know down in the comments below. I'd be happy to try to create a moveset for them. And yeah, but if you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe. That would be amazing. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Later.